In the higher tier, these sort of angle questions, simple ones like these, won't necessarily come up. You'll need to use the principles to solve more complicated angle questions. So we'll start here. You need to know the reasons word for word. Angles on a straight line sum to 180, which means this one here must be 140 degrees. You would show your working. Around a point, angles sum to 360 degrees. So we add up these two, take it away from 360. This angle here is going to be 140 degrees. Again, you would show your working. When you have two lines crossing, the opposite ones, but we say vertically opposite angles, are equal. So these two angles are equal. They're both going to be 80 degrees. And these two angles are equal. To find this angle, we look along this straight line. So if this is 80 degrees, then this one must be 100, because angles on a straight line sum to 180. So they start to link together. Isosceles triangles are triangles where two of the sides are equal. When you have an isosceles triangle, you look to see where those two equal sides meet. Here they meet at the top, and the other two angles are equal. So to find these two angles is two steps. The first thing you do is you do 180, take away this top degree. Which is going to leave you with 150 degrees. The second thing you do is you divide by 2, because these two are equal. So 150 divided by 2 is 75 degrees. Another type of isosceles triangle question is where you get one of the base angles. You're given one. So if you know this one here is 80 degrees, because base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal, you also know this one is 80 degrees. Because the two sides that are equal meet here, the other two angles are equal. You add up those two angles, 160, which means this one here must be 20 degrees, because the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Angles in a quadrilateral, a four-sided shape, add up to 360 degrees. So if you've got three of them, you add them up. The total of these three angles is 300 degrees. And then you subtract from 360, so x must be 60 degrees. Because angles in a quadrilateral sum to 360. A parallelogram is a special type of quadrilateral. And in a parallelogram, the opposite angles are equal. So if this is 80 degrees, then x over here will be 80 degrees as well. Working out the other two requires a couple of steps. You need to add up those two, which gets you to 160. And then you need to think what's left over to get me to 360. Or 360 minus 160 degrees. That's 200 degrees. So in addition, a subtraction, these two angles add up to 200 degrees, and they're the same. So the final line of working out, 200 divided by 2 is 100 degrees. So both y and z will be 100 degrees, because opposite angles in a parallelogram are equal.